Mabuhay, kamusta kayo? Welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be repotting some of my Dioscorea Elephantipes, sometimes called the elephant's foot vine, grown from seed and are 2.5 years old now. A couple of them have come out of their summer dormancy and grown new vines. It's the best time to repot these as well when they're active. They shouldn't really be repotted during their dormancy period. 2 of the 8 I have here are awake and active, so we'll repot those 2. So these plants have a caudex, which has been pretty much buried below the soil for those 2.5 years. But what I'm going to do is have their caudex exposed above the soil line when we pot them up. When you're growing these from seed, it is recommended to have their caudex buried for the first couple of years. It apparently helps with toughening them up. You can see the top of the caudex there with the new vine coming out. Yeah, very cool plants these. I've seen some that are huge and their caudex looks awesome. As they grow, they kind of resemble turtle shells. And I've seen pictures of others that are absolutely massive, like the size of boulders. So yeah, they can get pretty big, 10 feet or more in diameter. I'm also going to unpot this one. This is one I bought about 4 years ago now, but it hasn't produced a vine for the past 2 years. And it has shrunk in size since then. So unfortunately it could potentially be dead. So I want to unpot it just to check the roots. Like I said, it's not recommended to unpot these if they're dormant. But because it hasn't done anything for a long time and has a high probability of being dead, I'm not too worried about unpotting it. So we'll start with this one. Just gently take some of this top dressing away to expose the caudex. These have gone about 5 months without water as well, so they might look a bit dehydrated. It looks a decent size though. Gently squeeze the pot. Pretty desperate for a repot. They've been in these pots for a couple of years. I've only transplanted them once. And I will get most of this old mix away from the roots. Close up of the roots there. And the caudex. So I'll be using my regular mix for these, 4 equal parts of Johnnins No. 2, pumice, Keodama and zeolite. A nice gritty mix, ideal for these plants. The grittier the better really. So like I said, we're going to have the caudex exposed. A little bit more in there. A bit more. I definitely don't want these sitting too low in the pot. Looks good. And as always, using our trusty skewer to poke that mixture down between the roots. Just going to snip these old roots away from the top of the caudex just to tidy it up a little. These are old dead roots that sprouted when it was a seedling. And finally giving it a top dressing with some zeolite. And there we go, that's the first one done. So I'll do one more and hopefully over the coming days the others should start waking up. Decent size and nice roots on this one as well. And after these get watering, these caudex should start to swell up. Hopefully I'll be able to capture some time-lapse footage of that. Should look pretty cool. And that's the second one potted up. So it's been about a week so far, and 5 of the 8 have come out of dormancy. Again, hopefully over the coming days the other 3 should start putting out a vine. As it's been a week since they got repotted, I'm going to give them a watering as well. So when these are actively growing, I water these roughly every 7 to 10 days. They can be rot prone, but if you're using a gritty mix like I'm using that drains and dries out fast, you shouldn't have any problems with these. Important thing with these though is you don't really want to be watering them when they're dormant. I've heard that doing so can actually shorten their lifespan. Easy to know when they're actively growing though, as they'll have their vines. Try not to get the caudex wet either to avoid any potential rot issues. Lighting for these can be a little tricky, as the caudex doesn't like being exposed to full sun, but the leaves thrive in direct sunlight. What I usually do is either put a little bit of shade netting around the caudex or something in front of them to block the sunlight. Then as the vines and leaves grow, they'll provide and create a natural canopy for the caudex and provide shade that way. And of course, as these are climbers, I'll have to put a wooden cane in each pot or some trellis for them to climb up. You can train these vines to grow pretty much where you want really. There's some that have those metal hoops over them, so you can train the vine to grow up one side and down the other. Right, so that's them ones watered. Let's unpot the one that I think might be dead. See what's going on with the roots. Be a shame if this one has died. Sometimes when these are grown you can see new roots around the edges, but I'm not seeing any on this unfortunately. I'm not sure if this is alive anymore. Those roots look pretty dead. Wait a minute, those look like new roots to me. Could be a new root forming there on the edge as well. But that one there definitely looks alive and active. So what I've done as well is trimmed all the old dead ones away, but I'm pretty confident this plant is still alive. So I potted this one up in some fresh soil as well. Won't give it any water until it does send out a vine. And hopefully as it's grown new roots it might send out one in the next couple of weeks. So I'll leave you with some time-lapse footage now of their caudex expanding. Hopefully that footage turns out okay, and some time-lapse of their vines growing as well, and some more information about these plants. So hopefully you enjoy this next segment. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well so you know when I upload a new video. You all be safe and well, and I shall see you next time. Salamat po paalam. Bye for now.